Okay, so today I'm gonna try to get to Omnipresence Over Mortals, Chapter 2, Act 3, but in order to do that, I have to complete this other quest that a character is currently involved in. So I'm gonna get to that. Hopefully that won't take too long, or if it does, it'll at least be mildly entertaining. Anyway, let's go to Chisato's letter and hop right into it. Way down here. Okay. Wait. There we go. What did that just say? Look for the objective?
The warrant is for your arrest!
Oh.
Freeze!
Oops.
Oh no! Run!
Nothing to see here. Find Kujo Kamaji. Kujo, where you at? He's down here. Down below? Find out. Apparently not. I'm not climbing back up there. Think. Oh, he was right under my nose. Seems I'm providing a delivery service here. Maybe it'll get more interesting. That's how it typically turns out. The quest might start out in a boring fashion and then things ramp up quickly. Oh, that guard was uninterested. Okay, cool. Hello. Nice. How'd you get here so fast? It's much better when the characters are voiced.
Please speak to President Song.
It just feels more personable when they actually have a voice to the character. I know this is just like a side quest, but still. It only makes sense that the developers aren't going to have a voice for everybody, because if they did that, then they would have to reuse voice actors, and that might dilute from the importance of the characters that are involved in the main story. Wait, was that it? Am I free to continue? Wow, that was very anticlimactic. Okay. Whatever, it only took a few minutes. Where's this Electroculus? I bet it's up here. I'm not gonna worry about it. What time is it? It's actually almost midnight. I ended the last stream very confused why the game wasn't showing me where to go for this quest. But, as you can see now, we've got that all cleared up, and now we can continue.
Pretty much how I thought. There are loads and loads of people. If one of them spots me, I'll get caught. We need to get rid of them, or I won't be able to sneak inside. After I get the document, let's meet back at Komari Tea House, okay? Also, if I do get caught, please come rescue me. Is this really a good idea? Anyway, let's make our way to the statue. Careful does it. Watch out for guards and don't get caught.
Alright, just a moment. I need to make a small adjustment here. Perfect. Wait. I don't think teleporting there is going to help. We'll just climb the statue. Or... okay. Best way to do this. Oh, I'm supposed to do it over there? Oh, okay.
What kind of firework is this? By the look of it, Paimon's ears are gonna get blown off. Oh, Yoimiya, you are officially nuts.
What is going on
They're
here?
all coming this way! Quick, run!
By the statue. Let's investigate.
Ah! 36 seconds. Made it, right?
Well, how did it go?
I don't know. Yep, I'm
Well
not sure.
Let's wait for news from Sayu.
Nice, she made it.
I know exercise helps you grow, but this was a little too much exercise. I feel so dizzy. Everyone is spinning. No, I can't sleep yet. There was something important I was supposed to do first. Oh, right, yeah, I got it. I didn't know how to find a document you guys were talking about, so I just swiped a whole bunch of stuff that looks suspicious. Here you go. I'm going to sleep now.
I like this music.
My lady, what are we looking at?
This sealed envelope must be an official report that the Tenryou Commission is preparing to present to the Shogun. In addition, we have correspondence with the Fatui. It seems that Gujiae was right. They have been fomenting unrest behind the scenes. This should be ample evidence. Please take them to Gujiae. I trust you will have a plan for the next step. I will also gather some people to try and root out the rest of the Fatui in Inazuma.
Still, mind yourself when you face the Shogun. I still get goosebumps just thinking about her drawing that blade.
Again, we'll just have to trust Gujiae. She is close to the Shogun, so maybe she will have a way.
If Paimon remembers correctly, it should be time for our meeting with Yae Miko soon. Let's pack up our things and get ready to head to the Grand Narukami Shrine.
Lady Guji, here I am, as promised. Rest assured I
Has it
came
been
here
3
alone
days?
and told no one about this trip.
I knew you would keep your promise after all. I'm sure you've barely been able to take your mind off it these past few days. Have you managed to get any sleep at all?
You're quite mistaken. I would never doubt the leaders of my clan. So, where is your proof?
Ah, how wonderful. Everyone's keeping their promises today.
Oh, you wouldn't believe what we had to go through to get our hands on this stuff.
Hand them to Sarah. She can examine them for herself.
What is this? I see this document bears the official seal of the head of the Kujo clan, and it doesn't look like a forgery. I don't understand. Not a single word about the resistance, Sangonomiya, or the situation on the front line. What about the soldiers who gave their lives on the front line, or the hardship endured by the people? Do they deserve no mention? Utter disregard for human life. Why would they want to hide it?
For the sake of the Vision Hunt decree, of course. Don't you think the Shogun might reconsider her policy if all of the things you just mentioned appeared in this report?
So, the Tenryou Commission, they are deliberately deceiving the Shogun?
Yes. Now, who else do you think might be benefiting from the Vision Hunt decree?
This is a letter from the Tenryou Commission to the Fatui. The head of the Kujo clan kept this a secret from the Shogun, too.
Well, the things you wanted to see but also wished not to see are here before you. Surely, you aren't planning to turn a blind eye to them?
So everything I've ever held on to, it's all... How could they? Ugh! This betrayal is unforgivable! Takayuki, you've got some explaining to do!
Oh, she's pissed.
Sara seems pretty angry, huh? Looks like our Tenryou rebellion is successfully underway. Yep. Let's catch up with her.
Hold on, Traveler. There's something else we need to discuss.
Huh?
last time you entered the plane of Euthymia, it was in front of the statue of the omnipresent god, correct? You must find a way to recreate the circumstances of that day. If you can get the Raiden Shogun to open her heart to you once more before the statue of the omnipresent god, you will have the opportunity you need.
Seems difficult.
Take this with you as a farewell gift.
What is it?
The Omamori from the Grand Narukami Shrine are very potent indeed. I thought I'd put one aside for you. If you find yourself at your wit's end, take it out and see what happens. Maybe your prayers will be answered and all your problems will disappear in the blink of an eye. Or if you ever think about me during your journey, take it out, won't you? Who knows? Maybe I'll just end up appearing right in front of you.
Cut it out, Fox Lady! This isn't the time or place to be poking fun at the Traveler!
I'm sorry. Well then, time for you to face my hopeless fool of a friend. I'm counting on you.
Is this a usable item then? No.
One.
I suspect I'll automatically know when to use it. How am I getting there?
You followed me here? You've got guts, I'll give you that. Since you are a witness, I suppose I can shield you from arrest. At least until I have received an explanation from Takayuki. But if it turns out that you have been deceptive in this matter, then not only will you be arrested immediately, but you'll also be charged with one more crime. Do I make myself clear? Good.
This probably won't end well.
Apologies, ma'am. Orders from the top. No one is allowed to enter.
Out of my way! I need to speak to him. I won't tell you twice. Flash!
Rise.
Back off!
I must withdraw.
Battle formation! Get them!
Eyes on me!
Opening box of Adept
Wind, hear me!
Soldiers, quick!
Glory to the Shogun!
I've lost. Brace yourself. I dare
goes
you!
on.
Back off!
Nice and spicy!
Strike!
Eat this!
Don't hold back! I'll spare you!
Go.
I swear by my sword!
Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
Storm the front!
Oh, that was quite effective. I think I'm supposed to be using Kujo Sara more. That's why the guy's not
Sacred
going
name,
down very quickly.
fortune preserver. Life goes on.
Boba, get them!
Take this! Get them! Show me what you got!
No turning back!
Go as one!
Soldiers, quick!
Rise.
Well, he's halfway down at least now.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire! Go as one!
Strike!
Oops.
Wind, hear me!
Go as one! You're toast! Boba, get them!
To ashes!
Orders given.
Almost there.
Orders received. Life goes on.
Glory to the Shogun! Impossible!
I dare you! Who goes there? Soldiers, quick!
One last round of guys to get through here.
Nice and spicy!
Don't hold back! Get them!
I think this would be going faster if I had Sangonomiya, Kokomi, and my party was GP.
Train harder.
That's okay though.
Sarah, have you gone insane? How dare you disregard my orders?
Master,
Go on, ask him! Don't let him intimidate you!
Yeah, don't falter
Master
now.
Takayuki, I've seen the report to the throne and the letter to the Fatui. Please, tell me why.
So this is how my documents went missing from headquarters? You stole them.
Should I take your words to mean that these documents were not forgeries? They were really penned by your own hand. Please tell me, Master. I need to know. Has the Tenryou Commission really betrayed the Shogunate?
Yes, I have dealings with the Fatui, and yes, the report you saw was penned by my hand.
He just came right out and admitted it!
That was very forthcoming.
Diplomats from Snezhnaya promised a very generous reward indeed, and all they requested of me in return was to see that the Vision Hunt decrees upheld. For too long, the Kujo clan's position has been coveted by so many. There is no shortage of clans who would tear us down at the first opportunity. So, when the chance arose to gain the backing of another powerful nation and crack down on our enemies at the same time, it appeared to me to be an excellent deal. I simply saw no need to inform you, Sarah.
But you worship the Shogun. How can you betray her after all this time and act like it's nothing?
Betrayal? How can you call this a betrayal? The Fatui may think they are using me, but the reverse is true. What could they possibly hope to achieve? When the lightning strikes in Inazuma, they shall fall to their knees and tremble, paralyzed by fear and trepidation. After all, none can contend with the supreme power of the almighty Raiden Shogun and the Muso no Hitotachi!
Yeah, he doesn't worship the Raiden Shogun herself, but her power as a warrior, especially the Muso no Hitotachi. In fact, he seems to be way too into it.
Yeah.
But Master,
He's got some screws
what about
loose.
loyalty? Ever since I was adopted by the Kujo clan, you taught me the importance of loyalty from servants to their superiors. But it's clear to me now that you wanted my loyalties to stop with the Kujo clan. So you were scared that I would betray you one day? You hypocrite! Preaching about virtue just to mask your own wretched selfishness!
Selfishness? I am but safeguarding the eternity of the Kujo clan. I'm quite sure the almighty Shogun would be sympathetic to that. As would the former head of our clan.
Hate to say it, but his ego is getting in the way. If he thinks the Kujo clan is a match for the Fatui, Paimon thinks he's in for a nasty surprise.
I've doubted the Vision Hunt decree in the past. I asked myself, is this truly the correct thing to do? Even though it goes against what I know in my heart to be right. But I chose to obey the Shogun. For as long as she leads the way, who among us is qualified to judge between right and wrong when we have not yet reached the end of the path? But now I realize that the path of eternity is one without end, while this path, it has long since been defiled by your selfish ways. So I'm going to tell the Shogun the truth about all this. If nothing else, my conscience will be clear.
Stubborn and futile. Report to the Shogun if you so wish. The Kujo clan's position is now unshakable, and nothing you can do will change this. The Shogun is at Tenshukaku receiving a Snezhnayan diplomat. A harbinger by the name of Signora.
Signora's the one behind all this? Ugh, not her again! Way back in Rito, Lady Hiragi said something about the Kanjo Commissioner meeting with an arrogant-sounding woman. We should have known.
A diplomat from Snezhnaya. Well, if she thinks she's leaving Inazuma in one piece, she's got another thing coming.
Sara stormed off! Do you think she's gonna go barge into Tenshukaku right now? You can say that again! Alright then, let's do this!
Maybe I have to leave this area to see it. Before we go, I'm gonna change my setup here.
All is accounted for. Let's move out.
There we go. It's the best way to get there. This probably isn't it. Oh well, I like climbing anyway. Uh-oh. Not a good sign. Hello? Anybody home?
The way people charge in here as they please. So uncivilized. If I didn't know this was Tenshukaku, I might have mistaken it for some kind of street market. Have you learned your lesson now?
Oh no! What has she done to Kujo-Sara?
The right to punish Inazumans for their crimes is mine alone. Not yours, Signora.
Then I apologize, Almighty Shogun. I know, you can't get me out of your mind. But you really don't need to call my name all the time. Don't go thinking I'm surprised to see you here. I'm well aware that you hate me, with the way you follow me around like a dark shadow. Ah, so you came to expose my crimes in front of the Shogun? I'm just a Snezhnayan diplomat. I'm afraid I have no idea what you're talking about.
She doesn't take us seriously at all!
Stop talking about people and things that I care nothing about. They were nobodies to begin with, and their names will be forgotten. But now, at least, they get to be building blocks in the grand revolution to realize eternity. Is that not the greatest honor they could hope for in their tiny little lives? Almighty Shogun, do correct me if I'm wrong. That's ancient history. You certainly love to hold a grudge. The Tsaritsa's dream is the noblest and purest thing in all the world. These other mundane details you insist on mentioning, they're just necessary sacrifices. That's all. You stop me? For what it's worth, I've grown tired of seeing you around as well. But I didn't have you down as someone quite so foolhardy. Before you go saying something you can't take back, remember that you're Inazuma's most wanted criminal. I suggest you consider your circumstances very carefully. Charging into Tenshukaku uninvited and lecturing me in front of the Shogun wasn't the brightest move. Don't you think it's time you stopped digging? I'm not sure you realize quite how much distance there is between us, both in status and in strength.
I challenge you to a duel before the throne!
Proceed.
My, you're full of surprises today. So you've learned to make the law of the land work for you too, I'll admit that I never expected to be in a situation where the two of us were on equal footing. You are aware that the loser must die. Are you sure this is what you want?
Traveler!
Then I will deign to share this last dance with you. Till death do us part!
There we
A
go.
lesson on Harbinger power and elegance? As you wish.
Back off!
I swear by my sword!
Oh, what? How do I stop from freezing?
Boba, get them!
Power that ended High
Okay, that did it.
Detestable!
Fine.
Yeah, it really does not take long to freeze here.
Rebuild!
Back off!
It doesn't move either.
Frying pan into the fire!
Oh, I guess you did teleport.
Eat this! Turret, bring refuge!
You've got some nerve laying your hands on me! Harbinger power
Whoa,
has
what's going
become
on?
burdensome. I will manifest my destiny anew. Await my emergence and tremble, traveler!
Go, go, go.
You have reason to be afraid. The Tsaritsa's benevolence has no place for transgressors!
Oh. Crimson Lotus Moth.
Back off!
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Race you!
To ashes! The pale flame smolders!
That was unexpected.
Pale flame, lay waste to frozen shell and witness my suffering! In fires of sin and retribution, your soul will be incinerated!
Boba, get them!
Back off!
Let's move out. Wait, hear me.
Burning up.
Yeah!
At the frying pan, into the fire!
It's a status effect I haven't experienced before.
Hold the line!
Who dares
Get them!
call me a witch? Back off! Not every wound will heal. Yeah! All must burn!
Oh. Ah!
Not bad.
What do I do?
Allow me! Nice and spicy! Go and splash! A brash maneuver! Let's move out.
It's too high.
Embrace
Come on.
the searing reckoning.
Covenant of the Deep!
Immolation! A cherished agony. Do you feel it?
Hold the line!
Barbados, guide us.
Yeah!
At the frying pan, into
Not
the
every
fire!
wound will heal. Not even ashes will remain. Barely a scratch.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Rest and rebuild!
Ah!
Allow me! Rest and rebuild!
Not every wound will heal!
Into the fire!
Wind, hear me.
Go as one! Hold the line!
Getting there. She's doing this again. This is really fun. I'm liking this fight. Ouch.
Not bad.
Embrace your searing reckoning!
Boba, get them! Eat this! Torrent, bring refuge! Allow me!
Who dares call me a witch? Come, put up a fight!
It's not over.
Go as one!
Almost there.
Barbados.
So strong, but how?
You're not gonna kill her, are you? She is. She's gonna execute her.
Nayan diplomat. You know what happens if you lay a finger on me. Swear. If you strike me, I will make sure. The Fatui will make sure that your precious Inazuma. Stop! I order you.
God mode activated.
And you, filthy rats, all of you.
Rest in peace.
You are the enemy of eternity. But as the victor, I acknowledge your honor. Therefore, I shall allow you to leave Tenshukaku alive.
The Raiden Shogun isn't gonna let us off just like that, right?
What's going on?
Oh, the air feels suffocating. It must be the Raiden Shogun's almightiness. One strike from the Shogun and now Senora is gone. She got what she deserved, but Paimon still can't help but feel upset. Why are they doing it? Why are the Harbingers collecting all the no-seeds? Huh? Traveler, you got a headache? Chin up.
Strange.
Let's get out of this place. Paimon feels unsettled. Also, when the Shogun executed Senora with the Muso no Hitotachi, it was unbelievably powerful. It seems impossible to defend against. And if so, we've got no hope whatsoever of defeating her in combat. So, to recap, Yae Miko wants us to go back inside the plane of Euthymia by the statue
And then...
Oh, but we'll be like lambs to the slaughter, won't we? Oh, maybe we could put this plan on hold for a while? There's the sound of electro zapping in the air. Paimon can barely breathe. Traveler, are you okay? You're so silent. Sounds like there's a lot of noise coming from outside Tenshikaku. Has a fight broken out or something? Oh, the guards seem really nervous. Well, let's go see what the situation is, shall we?
There will always be those who dare to brave the lightning's glow.
We did it.
So we meet again.
I suppose we don't get to talk again.
Indulge my curiosity.
Oh.
What is the reason that I find you standing here before me once again? Do you hope your foolhardiness will shelter those people? Or was it simply a means of seeking an audience with me? Oh? Surely you didn't rouse me from my state of eternal meditation only to tell me this. If so, then you underestimate me. I am quite well informed about the Vision Hunt decree. Not so. Only everything that pertains to eternity. The Vision Hunt decree has my tacit approval. The Fatui's actions thus far do not constitute a threat to eternity. Otherwise, they would have been purged long ago. Individual ambition is inherently incompatible with eternity. What you might not realize is that all too often, people have far more to lose by chasing their dreams. Consider this. No one will lose their life on account of having their vision taken away. Rather, those who have lost their lives are the ones who insisted on pursuing their own aspirations, are they not? Traveler, your existence is unique in my eyes. There seems to be limitless uncertainty in you. To put it another way, you are the furthest thing from eternity. So, I won't insist that you comprehend the meaning of my actions. What matters is that I tread the path of eternity on my people's behalf. That's right. Huh. I'm surprised you understand it so well. Anyway, you're looking for a chance to shake my will, aren't you? So be it. Well then, you who would defy eternity, time for you to enlighten me. Do
We
you
had such a
wish to become the
cordial
enemy of
discussion.
eternity, traveler?
Racing Covenant of the Deep!
Strike dead!
I swear by my sword! Uphill battle!
You haven't won yet!
Oh man, she's got some moves.
Lightning falls on the land of eternity.
Inferior.
Let's move out. Rest and rebuild!
These aren't the moves that
You are an
Raiden
enemy
Dummy
that
would use.
requires special attention.
Barely a scratch.
Oh, there we go. I recognize that.
Strike dead!
Let's move out. Allow me. Nice. A brash maneuver.
Strike dead!
Boba, get them. Help! Beginner's attack.
Almost finished Sean Ling off there. You'll be okay though. Stop it.
Go as one.
Back off! To ashes! This ends now.
Hold the line. Torrent, bring refuge.
Barbados, guide us.
That really hurt.
Barely Evasion is futile.
Inferior.
Allow me.
You haven't won yet.
Where'd you go? Oh. Ow.
Nice and spicy.
Strike dead.
Go as one. You're toast. Go as one.
This ends now. Strike dead.
Go as one.
I swear by my sword.
Instabilities will be removed.
Uh-oh. Yep. Knew this was coming.
Inferior. Strike dead.
Wait, what did it just say? You would take her down. Can't heal by normal means here. I can only use Gene's auto attacks to heal up the party.
Strike dead.
Oh. Here we go.
me, aren't you cutting it rather close?
Miko, this was your doing?
Now. Don't forget who taught you how to place your consciousness in objects. Surely you don't think your ambition alone is enough to shake A's will, do you? Though you alone are here, they too have ambitions, which they long since entrusted to you. Now then, close your eyes.
I hope we can abolish the Vision Hunt Decree.
Eat this! Eyes on me! Covenant of the Deep! Rest and rebuild!
This world, a fleeting shadow. Barbados, guide us.
That really hurt! Nice and spicy!
This world, a fleeting shadow.
Without you,
all returns to silence.
go as well!
All will be severed.
Toast!
To ashes! This world, a fleeting shadow. I swear by my sword!
Allow me! Covenant of the Deep! Boba, get them!
This world, a fleeting shadow.
Go as one!
Wind, hear me! All will be severed.
That really hurt! Eat this!
Your verdict is decided.
Eyes
This
on
world,
me!
a fleeting shadow.
Go as one! Torrent, bring refuge! Rest and rebuild!
Barbados, guide us. All desire can be broken.
Boba, get them! Help! Hold the line!
This world,
A branch
a fleeting
maneuver!
shadow.
You're toast!
Your verdict is decided.
Power thunder!
I swear by my sword!
Covenant of the Deep!
You've lost, eh?
Yes, I have.
Why can you not trust your people, and in the power of their ambitions? These ambitions have transcended space and time. They are something that no one can snuff out. Is this the lesson you learned from your journey in Liyue? There are nations where humans cast their god aside and stride forward. So are we to just abandon the notion of progress for the sake of wishful thinking?
You and I have both witnessed the great loss that progress can bring. Eternity. Eternity is the only way. When lightning flashes, it casts a shadow. My name means shadow. With my blade, I purged all obstacles to progress. And yet, something was lost with each step forward. In the end, I even lost her. The tales are still retold in the shade of every Thunder Sakura. But the wounds left on our nation by that terrible loss still ache. Never stop searching, even if only for a brief flash of light. If nothing else, we have the present moment. She said that once. But I've seen a nation stride forward and lose everything to the heavenly principles. Perhaps only if time stands still will the lightning's glow never fade. The present moment is a fragile illusion. Only eternity can bring us closer to the heavenly principles. I am no longer the shadow. Mine is the most supreme and noble form. Let power over the realm be vested within me. In this form shall I honor my subjects' dream, for a land of eternity, unchanging forevermore.
The heavenly principles. Irrelevant nonsense as far as I'm concerned. When all's said and done, all you really want is to protect your beloved Inazuma forever and ever. Isn't that right?
That would be something of an oversimplification.
But is this nation worth existing for eternity? Stripped of ambitions, stripped of the potential for change, it does nothing more than simply exist. It is a hollow shell of a nation. I wonder what loss would it really be to anyone if such a nation were destroyed?
Miko, retract your words. Never changing eternity is the promise I made to my people.
But what your people need from you is not your promises. They want your attention. Your divine gaze.
You mean visions? Humans have a lifespan of barely 100 years. They cannot afford to bear any extra losses. But I have experienced it all. That is why I have chosen to guide them along the correct path toward eternity.
But eternity is far too cruel a fate for you, eh?
For me?
Not only have you stopped paying attention to the world, but you have stopped paying attention to yourself. It must have been terribly lonely here, all alone, for centuries on end.
But it is necessary.
You will miss much by refusing progress. You seek to prevent loss, but have you considered all you are losing by remaining here in stasis for all eternity? You are obviously lonely, and yet for the sake of eternity you choose to stretch your loneliness out to infinity. Tell me this. Why is the sky here that was once so dark glowing again? Why now? This is your plane of euthymia. It's your inner world. So it can only mean that you are happy to see me again. You have found the loneliness here unbearable for a long time now, haven't you?
I have nothing to say to that.
But I have so much to say to you. Let me tell you all that has happened over the last few centuries.
How long will that take?
As a Fox envoy, I have an excellent memory. I recall every detail of the last few centuries with perfect clarity. So it will probably take me another few centuries to relay it to you.
Miko, I never thought I would have the chance to meet with you like this again. Seeing you again is a change to eternity. And a very nice surprise.
Since you are willing to admit that, I suppose that means we can still be friends?
What a childish conversation this is. Anyway, now that I have been defeated by you and your plan, I will honor your wish to abolish the Vision Hunt Decree. But, with regards to eternity, and the question of whether this nation should move forward, I need time to give it some thought.
You are the one who's been acting like a child from the very beginning. As promised, the Raiden Shogun abolished the Vision Hunt Decree. Finally, her people's wishes penetrated her locked heart. Beyond the plane of euthymia, she saw what eternity means in the eyes of the world. When one's fervent ambition burns brightly, the gods will cast their gaze upon you. Some ambitions have the power to heal wounds, to bring victory, to inspire hope. But some ambitions outlive their masters long after the soul ascends. They remain as they were in the beginning. Burning bright and true for all eternity.
So what did you guys do in the Raiden Shogun's plane of euthymia anyway? Is the Vision Hunt Decree abolished? Oh, gotcha. Paimon was super worried, you know. So, maybe the reason Yae Miko is looking for us now is because she wants to thank us. Let's go find her.
What? Another bad one? No, let me try again.
Why, hello. If it isn't the triumphant traveler. And why might you be visiting the shrine? A sign of piety, perhaps?
You literally told us to come meet you here!
I was just joking. I've been waiting for you.
Seems like someone's in a pretty good mood.
Mm-hmm. Catching up with an old friend I hadn't seen in years was truly delightful. By the way, I heard that you had a duel before the throne, with a Fatui Harbinger no less. Courageous and astute. I must say, I am most impressed. Defeating Signora head-on in a duel means that your strength exceeds my expectations. Still, you did end up victorious. I gather congratulations are in order.
Sure feels good to finally thwart the Fatui plan for once. They caused plenty of trouble along the way, but at the very least, they didn't get their hands on another Gnosis.
Wait a second. Did you say Gnosis? As in, the little thing that looks something like a chess piece?
Yep, that's the one. You've seen one too? Gnosis belong to the Seven. They're what keep them connected to Celestia.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
What's wrong?
I handed that over.
You did what now?
Well, how else was I supposed to save your skin from the Balladeer exactly? The Balladeer is number 6 of the Fatui Harbingers. In terms of strength, he is superior to Signora. I'm not the kind of person who risks life and limb for any old reason.
For once, Paimon just does not know what to say.
After A created her puppet vessel, she no longer had anywhere to put it. As her erstwhile closest friend, A handed it over to me, and I've kept it in the Grand Narukami Shrine ever since. She no longer needs the power of the Gnosis, and in any case, she tells me she has severed ties with Celestia. Thus the Gnosis became not only useless, but also a potential source of conflict. Is that not a good bargain, exchanging it for the one at the core of the plan? Judging by the results, at least, I dare say I struck a good deal.
When you put it like that, Paimon has to agree. The Traveler is worth more than a gnosis. Well, what's done is done, and Paimon heartily thinks we'll be getting it back now. Let's leave the past in the past. So anyway, you still haven't told us why you called us here today.
It's to thank you.
Really?
You intend to travel all over Teyvat, and the time has come for the Inazuma leg of your trip to come to an end, has it not? As a mark of my gratitude, I will answer any questions you may have about the road ahead or the events of the past.
Nice.
What would you like to know about? Sorry, I haven't a clue. I'm also unfamiliar with the god you describe. But if you still have doubts about A, I would say they are misplaced. Not only does she not fit your description, but she voluntarily gave up her gnosis long ago, severing her ties with Celestia in the process. That's good to hear. Otherwise, given that I'm her familiar, it could have made our relationship rather awkward, don't you think?
Don't worry, we aren't looking to pick a fight with you.
I wish you the best of luck. May you soon discover the truth behind it all. As for your sister's whereabouts, I will use all the resources at my disposal to investigate it, and I will also borrow some of Ayato's people from the Shiumatsuban. I'll let you know if I find out anything. Consider it part of my means of thanking you. I'm surprised an outlander like you is aware that there was once a change of Electro Archon. Few citizens of Inazuma are aware of this.
Morat's told us. He said that the Electro Archon Ball has passed away.
Yes. The truth of the matter is that there were two twin gods, Baal and Beelzebul.
Twin gods?
They won the Archon War together, and when Baal established the shogunate, Beelzebul became her Kagemusha, or shadow warrior. In other words, she acted as Baal's body double. Beelzebul is A, with whom we are now both acquainted. Baal's name was Makoto. As far as the world was aware, there were not two, but one. They complemented each other, and they ruled Inazuma jointly, so there was no need for the public to know the truth. In fact, the name Baal and the title of Raiden Shogun was understood to refer to both of them. Right up until...
Until what?
Makoto died several hundred years ago in a war that I was not personally involved in. Since then, A has assumed the shogunate.
Losing her sister must have been super hard on A.
That was when A began to change. Makoto was her greatest loss.
Paimon feels like she understands A a lot better now after finding that out. So what kind of god was Makoto?
I didn't spend a great deal of time with her, but my impression was she was a gentle god, who in each moment cherished the beauty of what was before her.
Wow!
After leaving Inazuma, I think it would be easiest for you to go to Sumeru.
Ooh, Sumeru! We've run into loads of scholars from there on our journey so far.
Yes, well, Sumeru is the land of the god of wisdom, where the quest for wisdom and knowledge is never-ending. But their obsession gives rise to some truly inexplicable things. For example, in Sumeru, knowledge is holistically managed as a resource.
Knowledge is a resource?
Yes. I don't know whether it was the sages or Lesser Lord Kusanali who came up with the idea.
Lesser Lord Kusanali? That's a cute name.
Oh, you haven't heard. Lesser Lord Kusanali is the deity in whom the people of Sumeru place their faith. It's their chosen term of endearment for her. I'm sure you must have some things to discuss with her too. I wish you all the best. Are you sure? Okay then. Oh, Traveler. Do you still have the Omamori I gave you? Keep it safe. Is that all you intend to do with it? There was me thinking that you might hang it around your neck to show off to the world, telling everyone who inquired that it was given to you by none other than Yae Miko, the wise and beautiful.
Who in their right mind would do that?
Okay, I'll stop. Now, a question for you. Traveler, what is your ambition? I see. But that is merely a small goal, based on what preoccupies you here and now. Your ambition should be something that transcends the world below and the starry sky above. Something that shines in unison with fate itself. Perhaps the reason you do not possess a vision is that such an ambition has yet to be engendered within you. It's a possibility. Continue on your journey, and maybe that moment will come to pass.
To be continued. That's it. That's the end of that Archon story, at least for now. That was very satisfying. Now comes the question, what quest do we want to do now? There's this quest at the top of the list here. Been a long time since we've done anything in Mondstadt. Let's go say hi to Jean. I'd just like to reiterate how much I liked the music that they incorporated in the last quest line there. The fight songs were pretty intense. Loved it. I might have to look up the music later and just listen to it in my own time.
Let's move out.
Let's see, do I need to track it? Oh. Apparently, I've forgotten where all of the structures are located in Mondstadt.
That doesn't sound very good.
Acting Grand Master?
You okay, boss?
Master Jean?
Oh, it's our honorary knight. Sorry, I must have been daydreaming. How can I assist?
Actually, it's not us who need your help. It's a bunch of other people.
I see. Well, thank you for your service to the people of Mondstadt. I have made a note of these commissions in my files, and I will make arrangements accordingly.
Great!
You need some tea there, Jane?
We didn't miss out on anyone's commissions, did we? Sarah's Hilly Churls, Charles' tax return, Margaret's cat. Seems that's everything.
Out.
We'll be on our way then, Jean. Jean,
Oh,
are
God.
you okay? How's Jean holding up? Is it serious?
It's just burnout from work stress. She'll be fine after a good old rest. Thanks for bringing her here. She may have tried to keep soldiering on otherwise.
It's not a surprise, though. She does have a lot to get through every day.
Poor Jean. She's always been one to push herself too hard while overlooking her own needs. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. Oh, you think so? I mean, she's the acting Grand Master and all. We can't have her collapsing all the time now, can we? So you know, it's not like this is a personal thing. It's just out of love for concern for the greater good. Yes, that's it.
What's up with Barbara? Huh. Weird.
Anyway, you're an honorary knight, aren't you? While the master is down, the knights should share her burden, no?
That's a very good point, but shouldn't one of the fully qualified knights do that?
Jean has so much to do. An extra pair of hands can't hurt. You should go and check in at the headquarters. Jean will be fine with just me here.
Paimon feels like she's trying to get rid of us.
Why is that?
Nothing. We'll leave you to it. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, Barbara acts all weird around Jean for some reason, because they're siblings.
Oh, it's Kaya!
I've been waiting for you. I have been informed about Jean falling ill. On behalf of all of the Knights of Favonius, allow me to express my sincere gratitude for your assistance.
So courteous and polite. This isn't the Kaya Paimon knows.
Well, the circumstances warrant it. This is the acting Grand Master herself we're talking about. Now, in addition to that thank you message, there was one other thing. It's like you read my mind. We have quite a connection, don't you think?
Things like helping to fill in for Jean?
Right. Although the commissions you reported to Jean have already been handed off to someone else, I am concerned that they will not be handled with due care without Jean's personal touch. So I am hoping that you can help out where you see fit. I will feel much more at ease knowing that the honorary knight is personally overseeing these cases.
You can flatter us all you want, but answer me this. Why don't you do it?
Oh, I have far more important matters to attend to. There are so many things to prepare.
Fine then. So it's Sarah, Charles, and Margaret's stuff you want us to help with, right?
Those are the ones. I appreciate the help. See...
The dialogue got cut off there for some reason.
Where am I going to get the more?
Find these people and help them out. You can't be here, Jean. You're supposed to be resting.
Got it. I'll set off right away. Amber, are you here to help out with Jean's commission?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I was just getting ready. Who better than an outrider to mop up some hilly trails on the delivery route?
Oh.
Sarah, what are you still stressing about? I'm an outrider, and I won't disappoint.
You misunderstand me. I don't doubt your abilities. I'm just overwhelmed at the number of orders piling up in front of me. Another bizarre order came in just now. It's like they're hosting a banquet or something. Really? You don't mind helping? Oh, that would be wonderful. You really are the good hunter's guardian angel.
Yeah, well, those hilly trails are going to be a handful, too.
Well, why don't you take this order? Start by getting the ingredients.
Are you sure he can be trusted? It might end up tasting a bit funky.
We're well past the point of aiming for perfection. This is now a fight to save the Good Hunter's business.
A fight?
For this dish, we need 3 sweet flowers and 3 fowls. Okay, go and get ready. You too, Amber. I'll be waiting here.
Oh, yes, right!
Have those already.
Have you brought me 3 sweet flowers and 3 fowls?
Are you sure you don't want 230 flowers?
Yep, that's everything. Now, order number 7 is for 1 sweet madame.
And so begins the story of us becoming basic kitchen hands.
You did say you'd help Good Hunter out. Be sure to serve it while it's hot.
Where am I taking it?
Any news on that sweet madame?
Oh, just giving it back to her.
1 sweet madame received. This smells absolutely divine. This is nothing less than what I would expect from a head chef, never mind a sous chef. Since you cook so well, you might as well take this sticky honey roast next.
Sticky honey roast? Paimon's sure she's heard Amber and Kaya mention this one before.
That's right, a mainstay of the Good Hunter menu. It's my pride and joy. The knights order it almost every time they come here for a gathering. Let me teach you the recipe for a sticky honey roast.
Wait, didn't you say it's your pride and joy? You're going to teach us how to make it? Just like that?
With your cooking skills, I don't think you will be doing a disservice to the Good Hunter brand. As soon as that sticky honey roast is ready, please bring it here.
Oh, I have viewers. Oh my gosh.
Haven't you heard? There's a strange wanderer near Wolfendom.
Oh. When would you guys like to come over? I'm always willing to have visitors. And we still should plan on that indoor soccer sometime. For sure. Let's see. What does this dish even look like? How do I organize this? Not seeing it. Check the inventory. Next weekend? Sure. On Saturday? You prefer Saturdays, right? The kids are busy on Sundays, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like I can't find the recipe here in this.
I'm still waiting on 1
inventory.
sticky honey roast.
Dang it. If I didn't have so many recipes, I'd be able to find it. Oh, here it is. Found it. Jeez. Just one? Yeah. I must have skimmed right over it.
I'm still waiting on one sticky honey.
Here's your food, lady.
This is... Wow! Did you really cook this? This is quite simply astonishing! You were born to be a head chef.
Are we released from kitchen duty now?
Yes, thanks ever so much for your help. Amber should be able to take care of everything else. If you ever get tired of being an adventurer, there'll be a job waiting for you at...
Do you like the addition of the chat box on the screen? I thought it was kind of cool. It was actually really simple to add onto it. I just hadn't looked into improving the stream in that way yet, so it's kind of cool. Alright, I need to find someone else to help now. Charles, let's help Charles. Now, since it's gonna be on the video, you're gonna have to refrain from being
Lisa,
too
are you here about
profane.
the tax return?
Oh, hello, darling. You're quite right. After I heard about poor Jean, I thought I might lend a hand with some of her more literary duties.
Cool. Well, if we're no longer needed here, we'll be on our way.
Wait a moment. Actually, Charles here was wondering...
Please, allow me, ma'am. I just took a rather important order, but unfortunately we've run completely dry, and the delivery from the winery is behind schedule. If it's not too much trouble, could you go and do something about this logistical nuisance?
What's so urgent about this order?
It came in at the last minute. Literally just a few seconds ago.
Exactly. Hence the urgency.
I was adventuring in the Ashen Sea.
Okay. Didn't watch the last stream, so it was actually really intense. So we encountered the Raiden Shogun in the last stream, and he actually almost killed the traveler, but we managed to escape. Then earlier this stream, we finished up with the story, and we confronted her a second time. And with a friend of ours who happens to be her familiar, with her skills, we were able to get her to what's the word? Maybe not come to our side, but we were able to defeat her in combat, and she relinquished the Vision Hunt Decree. So all the people in Inazuma are free to live with their visions now. And we tried to explain to her that living in a complete stasis alone in the plane of Euthymia is not a proper way to live your life or preserve the city throughout eternity. It's a rather hollow existence. It's really good. Earlier this stream, most of the stream has just been me watching the cinematics, or me fighting big bosses. It's really cool. So even if I haven't had a lot to commentate on, it hasn't been necessary. Alright, stop hopping on this table and go talk to Ernest. Apparently, I can't think, speak, and quest at the same time.
Can't catch me!
Ernest, what are you doing out in the trail? Okay, so now, since I completed all of the Archon quests in Inazuma that came to a conclusion, that now I'm working on story quests. So right now, Jean, she was really stressed out and working herself too hard. So we paid her a visit, and then she passed out right at her desk. So since she's resting now, we are taking up her responsibilities and letting her recover. Yeah, she works herself to the bone. Not very healthy. Hi, Ernest.
So this is where Charles's delivery disappeared to.
Have you come to rescue me? I've been waiting long enough. And all the time I've been working at the winery, this is the first time I've been robbed by hilly churls. If you'd taken any longer, I don't know what I would have done.
Fear not! My friend here is a hilly churl exterminator extraordinaire!
Just as well. Then please escort this transporter to the end of the road. And be careful with it. Just beating up the hilly churls is not the aim here. You'd better make sure the goods stay intact because I certainly don't have the Mora to replace them. I'll be waiting up ahead.
Okay. I want to ride on this thing. Is this not a ski lift?
Allow me! And away I go!
Roadblock.
Nice and spicy!
Get that out of the way.
Back off!
Hey. Transport balloons.
To ashes!
Ah! Stop it!
Rest and rebuild!
Shoot! Don't make me roll over you.
I'm out of here!
Do it. Consider yourself trampled. Alright. Oh, the balloon's pushing the little, I don't even know what you call that. Little statue thingy. Hey, I see you over there. Put that away. Oops. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, it's stuck. It's stuck.
Torrance, bring refuge! Hold the line!
I'm not sure I completely comprehend that statement.
Boba, get them!
Is there some context? Any context I'm missing here?
Back off!
Rest and rebound.
Ow. Stop it.
Frying pan into the fire.
Like, why isn't this thing moving still? Is it because I have to get rid of this guy? Ah, yes. It would be very strange if your mother started every single sentence with Jacob.
Thank you, my friend. I thought I was in deep. I'll put in a good word for you with the gentleman at the winery.
Alright, 2 for 3. The last quest person is busy. Margaret. Okay, Margaret, what are you doing to do this snowy past? Time remaining 14 days. Oh my gosh, let's get to it. Get 60 gems out of the deal. Rock on. Who am I talking to? Talk to everyone. Oh. That's what I'm talking to.
Is that Albedo? Why is he leaving?
Hey, it's the Traveler and Paimon.
Hello, you two. It's been a long time.
Were you having a really serious discussion right now or something?
Just a regular catch-up. We meet here once in a while to go through any recent developments in our research projects.
So we just missed him! Maybe we should have hollered to him. He didn't look in the best of moods just now, though. Was he upset about something? If so, he probably wouldn't have been in the mood to help out anyway.
Upset? You mean Albedo?
Yeah, he wasn't looking his usual self.
Upset? Uh-oh. I wonder if...
What are you looking at me for?
I wonder if Timaeus' research topic is so boring that Albedo finally snapped.
Surely not. It's not that boring, is it?
Nah. Anyway, Paimon wanted to ask you for a favor, Timaeus.
A favor? Well, sure. How can I help?
Well, Paimon found a bunch of super-duper sweet Sincerias in the mountains the other day. But if Paimon eats them all, then they'll all be gone, so Paimon isn't ready to finish them all yet. Paimon was thinking maybe you could make a device that you put fruits in and it turns them into juice. That way, they'll be preserved for as long as Paimon needs.
Oh, yeah, I'm afraid that sort of thing is a little...
Huh? Seems pretty straightforward to Paimon. Can't you do it?
Paimon, I'm afraid you've entered into the realm of the weird and wonderful with this one.
Okay. So how about you, Sucrose? Any idea?
I'm sorry. It doesn't sound like it falls within my area of expertise. I could give it a try if you really want, but I'd probably just end up giving all your precious fruits arms and legs.
Whoa, your tone is so calm, but your words are so terrifying. You'd think I'd be used to this by now.
Well, as you know, my focus is on bioalchemy. Besides, keeping things fresh forever is just not possible. If you just wanted to modify certain properties of the fruit or their seeds, on the other hand, I'd easily be able to help with that. Alchemists usually focus in on their own research areas. Take us, for example. Timaeus, Albedo, and I all have very different research foci. Paimon, your idea is very imaginative, but it's beyond Timaeus' and my ability. I don't think even Albedo can make such an incredible device. After all, alchemy is not mechanics. There is a big difference between the two.
Huh? Well, excuse Paimon for overestimating the power of alchemy.
In fact, before Albedo showed up, everyone in Mondstadt thought alchemy was useless. Of course, we know better now. But even then, I have to admit, alchemy is only one of the many wondrous arts in the world. It's certainly not some kind of all-powerful magic that can simply take a substance and preserve it indefinitely. Sorry. That wasn't meant as a criticism against you personally.
Paimon just wanted some fruit juice. What's wrong with that?
Oh, of course, these are just Timaeus' and my subjective opinions on the matter. If you're really intent on pursuing this wondrous device, you can try your luck asking Albedo. But I wouldn't get your hopes up. If he has no idea how to make one either, you'll have to give up on the idea.
He doesn't seem to be in a good mood today, though. What if he ignores us?
He won't. Albedo is not that kind of person.
Hey, so where is Albedo heading to anyway? Dragonspine?
Unless he specifically says otherwise, Dragonspine is where he usually goes. He seems particularly fond of that place. And somehow, the cold doesn't seem to bother him at all.
Then let's go to Dragonspine to find him! Come on,
Yes.
there's no time to lose!
Haven't discovered how to make juice yet, apparently. Perhaps we'll figure out here and now. It was, what did they describe it as? Outlandish?
This looks lively. What's the occasion? Let's go and have a look!
Hey, Traveler and Paimon. Fancy meeting you all the way out here.
Amber? Cyrus? Halid? What's everyone doing at Dragonspine? Don't you mind the cold?
Oh? The Traveler is joining us too! Oh, great! Fantastic! Wonderful! The more the merrier.
I agree. I feel much better with the Traveler joining us. Definitely the kind of person you want to have around in a tight spot.
Oh, right! Paimon remembers most of these people are from the Adventurers Guild.
Is this a tight spot?
Then again, it seems a certain outrider is doing too.
Allow me to explain. The Adventurers Guild is holding winter training on Dragonspine. As you know, our members have varying levels of adventure experience. Dragonspine is an excellent place for budding adventurers to challenge themselves and improve, but it's dangerous to go alone. So, we made a plan for senior members to pair up with junior members. This way, everyone can experience training on Dragonspine together under safe and controlled circumstances.
That sounds
Now,
like fun.
every adventurer can progress together. I've been working on this grand plan for half a year now, and it's finally coming together! It's a great plan, isn't it? Hey, you are an outstanding adventurer. Surely you must be willing to join us and help out.
Is the Adventurers Guild short on experienced members?
Well, that's part of it, actually. The other reason is, when I was patrolling the perimeter of Dragonspine, I found a lost kid named Joel. I heard he lives here on the camp, so I escorted him back. I know, Joel's father went missing. I totally sympathize with how much Joel misses his family. Dragonspine is so bleak and deserted. It must have been so lonely for him here.
Aw, Amber.
Anyway, I wanted to do something to cheer Joel up, so I said I'd build a snowman with him. It's something he enjoys doing. It also gives me a chance to stay here for a while and help Cyrus out.
Nice.
Aw, really? Thank you. Let's go meet up with Joel then.
Oh, I invited another friend of mine to join too. She should be here any second. She'll be perfect for this kind of thing.
We'll make the
Hey,
best
Cyrus, we've got
snowman
to take
ever.
off. Is that okay?
No problem. Go ahead. I still have some final checks to make, so I will call you before we depart.
Hey there, buddy.
Hey, Joel, we're here.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy right now. It's nice to have so many people to hang
Sorry
out
you
with.
lost your dad.
Are you here to build a snowman too?
Build a snowman?
Apparently not. He is way too dignified for that.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to do the introductions. This is Eula, the Spindrift Knight and captain of the Knights of Favonius Reconnaissance Company.
Amber, you're being far too formal. The child is never going to remember all that. Please, just call me Eula.
Okay, Auntie Eula. You can call me Joel.
Auntie Eula?
Uh-oh. Eula's gonna add that to her long list of scores to settle.
All right, if that's what you want to call me, go right ahead.
Whoa. Eula just let something go for once?
Amber, what's this I hear about a snowman? I came to assist because you told me the Adventurers Guild was short-handed.
Yeah, that's something else. But look, Joel's at the age where he should be having fun, and there's nothing to play with on Dragonspine. He used to build snowmen with his dad, and since his dad's not around, we're keeping him company instead. Besides, Eula, it's gotta be more fun than taking an ice bath all by yourself. Let's combine our forces and build ourselves a huge snowman. It'll be a ton of fun.
Yep. Count Paimon in too. Paimon wants to build a snowman.
Auntie Eula, are you too busy to join in? If so, it's okay. I understand.
No, nothing like that. My mind was on something else, that's all. Building a snowman with Joel, are we? Sounds wonderful. I'd be delighted to join you.
Should be super easy for Eula. She has a cryovision.
Then let's get started. First, we need to split up into teams to gather some supplies. Joel and I will be on one team. You and Eula can be on the other team. Hey, Joel, see that huge tree over there? Wanna race me there?
Yeah, let's do it!
Wow. Those two are fast. It's hard to tell which of them is having more fun. Hey, what's up with you two? Why are you just staring at each other without saying anything?
Practicing telepathy.
Well... Joel probably hasn't spent much of his life in the city. He doesn't know me, and he doesn't know what the Lawrence name means to the people in Mondstadt.
Right. That's why he calls you Auntie Eula.
True. In his eyes, I'm just another ordinary person from Mondstadt. It was a surprise, but not in a bad way at all. How very perceptive of you. Were you staring at me the whole time when everyone was talking? You shan't be getting off lightly for that. The truth is, I'm a little concerned that I might be quite inept at building snowmen. I have never built a snowman before. My upbringing was very strict, so I never had the chance when I was a child. And after I grew up, of course,
How sad.
it's not the sort of thing I would spend my time doing.
Oh no! Paimon's starting to feel sorry for Eula.
You sound confident. All right then. Enough small talk for now. I see we have a member of the Adventurers Guild joining us.
Greetings. We have a slight problem here. We've done a head count, and it turns out that we have an odd number of participants. In other words, we still have one instructor slot left to fill. How it happened was, we originally asked Fischl to be an instructor, but she was busy with something outside of Mondstadt during this period. So, we found another adventurer to fill in for her, but they still haven't shown up yet. Thank goodness you are here.
Oh, hello. My name is Gerald. I'm a new adventurer.
In that case... Fine. But for that, you will pay.
Huh? Pay for what? Okay. I got it. I'm ready and willing to learn.
Good, good. Then everything is settled. Thank you for your help, Eula. If anybody else signs up later, I may have to ask for your help as well.
Anytime.
Why did you give the spot to Eula? Oh, okay. You're so nice. Paimon noticed Eula smiled just now. It must have meant a lot to her. To be honest, Eula really is the best candidate for an instructor. Most people would find it hard to cope on the mountain because of the sheer cold, but not her! Oh, now Paimon gets it. This must be the whole reason why Amber got Eula involved in the first place. We were supposed to find supplies, but now Eula's busy with other stuff, and, Paimon doesn't feel like going around collecting things. How do you think Amber and Joel are doing? Let's head up the mountain and see what they're up to.
Good call.
It's really easy to hide in weather. Strange. Didn't they say they were going this way? Where the heck are they? Did we get here
They
too
got
late?
lost.
Have they moved on already? Could they be in danger? Hurry! Let's go check it out! It's coming from that direction! Nice and spicy!
Power that ended Hanshan!
I'm out of here! Out of the frying pan, into the fire! Yup! The sound is completely stopped!
We'll see what happens here.
How could that happen? After all the adventures we've been on, our tracking skills are honed to perfection. Aren't they? Oh,
Apparently not.
guess we underestimated whatever was behind it. But if that's the case, then what exactly are we dealing with here?
I know that voice.
Hmm? Huh?
What brings you to Dragonspine?
Ah, Albedo.
Oh, so it was Albedo all along!
All along. Oh, what do you mean by that?
On the way here, we kept hearing weird noises, and it felt like someone was watching us the whole time. Turns out it was just you! Honestly, you really gave us the creeps. If you're bored up here, go find something useful to do. Don't go sneaking around scaring the poop out of people.
The things you felt and heard could easily be attributed to animals, or bandits, perhaps. You should be wary at all times in this environment. There are all too many ways to sustain losses here if you aren't careful. So, what business brought you here?
We actually came to look for you, but then it turned into looking for Amber, but now we've met you, so we're back to that again.
Your thought process is rather chaotic, as is the way in which you articulate it.
Hey! How dare you! All Paimon's trying to say is that we came here to look for you!
Oh, is that so? Then it must surely be something of great importance. I'm all ears.
He seems to be in a better mood than we thought, right? Does that mean Timaeus' stupidity doesn't really get to him after all? Huh. Okay, let's just forget that ever came up.
That's okay if you can't tell me about it. Just treat this as an opportunity to stroll on the mountain and enjoy the view.
So basically, the truth is we're here on adventurer duty.
Oh, I see. So you foisted the rookie off onto Eula so that you could wander off and goof around?
We're not goofing around! And Eula was the right person for the job! We were just being nice. What about you then, huh? What are you doing on Dragonspine?
A friend commissioned me to do some artwork recently, and I have yet to finish. I came here because it's a quiet place where I can gather my thoughts, gather inspiration, and gather some raw materials while I'm at it.
Raw materials? For what?
Paint. Star silver can be used to make high-quality silver paint. I just ran out of my previous batch, so I'll collect some ore while I'm here.
Ore can be used to make paint?
Yes, but you have to be selective with the specimens you choose. Even with a high level of impurities, star silver still contains fine silver-colored particles, but they lack luster, which impacts the color saturation of the pigment made from them. Paint made with such pigment is generally viewed as a fake or a defective product.
Interesting. So, paint aside, can you talk about how you find inspiration? Paimon wants to learn!
You want to learn to paint?
No, not for me. For the Traveler. Paimon wants the Traveler to learn how to paint. During our travels, we sometimes have nights where there's nothing to do. It'd sure be nice to do something memorable rather than just sit around. Painting is a great example because it can capture a moment in time. So it seems like it's definitely a worthwhile skill to have. Yep, why not? Once you mastered it, you can paint Paimon!
Not a bad idea. Well, since you two would like to learn more about painting, why don't you come with me to the campsite? I have painting materials there. You can practice while I give you some guidance.
Sounds great! Oh, she'll be
forget
fine.
about Amber.
She is a knight of Favonius after all. Let's just forget about all that stuff for now and go with Albedo. Come on, let's go! It's so cold out. Paimon wants to get to the camp and warm up by the fire.
Some things are missing.
Nothing valuable, hopefully. Wait, where's Paimon's Mora?
It's hard to say their value, but some of my alchemy notes are missing.
Alchemy notes? Would they fetch a high price?
To the uninitiated, they are merely scraps of paper. But for someone who knows what they're doing, the knowledge contained in those notes is more valuable than any treasure.
So you're saying only someone who knows alchemy would have stolen them? But the only people who come to Dragonspine are adventurers, thieves, and monsters. What use would any of them have with your notes?
I feel the same way. However, hilly trail break-ins and other such incidents are not unheard of on Dragonspine. It's difficult to draw a conclusion based solely on the evidence at hand. These appear to be...
Footprints?
fresh ones. Meaning our thief can't have made it far.
Let's chase him down! We can't let them get away!
Maybe it's the kid's dad.
From the entrance, the footprints go that way.
Oh, that thieving... thief!
Huh. Make my escape.
The footprints lead up there.
So they scaled the cliff. Okay, after them!
Who could it be?
Footprints on the snow are so hard to notice. It's so easy to lose track completely.
I am freezing to death.
That's why we have to hurry.
I'm about to.
The footprints stop here!
Our thief must have jumped from the cliff.
Whoa!
Get your wind glider ready. We're going down. Here, more footprints.
They're heading to the cavern. Ooh, we got you now! You sure can run, but you definitely can't hide! Let's go in!
Wait, I have an idea. I'll go in alone. Traveler, please stay here and guard the entrance. This cavern has 2 points of entry, and there are shortcuts inside. Judging from the state of the footprints, he hasn't been in there long. I should be able to reach the other side before he does.
Very measured.
Cut him off at both ends. Good idea!
Whoever apprehends the thief first has to notify the other party. This way we're fully covered. Still, safety comes first. We do not yet know the identity of our thief. Please take care.
We'll be fine.
Okay, see you shortly. Of course.
And break.
I wonder if Albedo found the thief. This is taking forever. Really? Huh. Maybe it just feels like a long time because Paimon hates waiting. Waiting is so boring. Why don't we find something to do to pass the time? You know, something like...
Painting.
Something like... Oh! Look at all that star silver over there! Why don't we gather it up for Albedo? It's right next to the cavern, so we won't be going far. If anything happens inside, we can be right back here in no time. Yay! Let's get started!
Where is it? Oh, it's right here.
Huh. This stuff looks kinda lackluster.
Need to find a way to warm up.
The impurities like Albedo was talking about? Hey, this one's not bad! Alright, this should be enough. Some star silver shines a lot more brightly than others, huh? Finally, you're back!
Yes. Sorry. I was unable to catch him. He was faster than I'd imagined.
Oh, so after all that, we still don't even know who the thief was? What a waste!
Yeah, we tried.
Still, we won't be going back completely empty-handed. We did some mining!
Mining?
Yeah, for star silver. Look, we got quite a lot! It's just like you said. Some are really bright and shiny, and others just look like regular lumps of rock with a little shiny bit here or there.
Star silver. I was merely saying what was on the front of my mind. I hadn't thought you would genuinely go and gather some.
Well, you said they can be turned into paint, so we got pretty curious. Also, if it weren't for that thief, we'd be making paint by now anyway, right? Or even painting by this point. Anyway, it's all the thief's fault for wasting our time.
Yes, it's all the thief's fault. The notes mean a lot to me. I'm not quite ready to give up the search yet. Let's keep an eye out for clues as we go.
Oh, just one thing. Do you want us to bring all this ore back, or did you want to sort through and get rid of the useless bits first? There's no point in bringing the bad ones back if it'll ruin the quality of the paint. Some of them do look pretty dull to Paimon, so it doesn't seem like those will be of any use at all.
Indeed. The sorting process is necessary. Humans are such practical creatures. They only want those things that are good. Once they have learned to distinguish between good and bad, they will never stop comparing things in their minds. Useless things should be disposed of at the outset.
Right! Saves a lot of time that way.
Whoops.
Efficiency first. So let's start
That was a strange way of wording things.
Help me!
Wait! Did you guys hear that? Was that a cry for help? It's likely an adventurer in danger. Okay.
Let's warm up first.
I'm out of here. Boba, get them!
Much better. We're on fire. That's even better. Okay.
The voice was definitely coming from around here.
Is anybody there? Help me!
No way! Is that?
Is that the Traveler in Paimon? It's me, Bennett!
Hi.
Whoa! It's really
Break this guy out.
Let's get him out!
So sorry to trouble you guys again. The key should be someplace nearby. Please, help me find it.
Wow, so much clutter! Oh, we're not gonna find the key here. Uh-oh, we got company!
Maybe they have the key.
Eat this! Nice and spicy!
Back off!
Covenant of the Deep! Rest and rebuild! And away I go! After Raiden, into the fire! Ninjutsu! Oh, so they kept the key with them!
Oh, nice.
We were searching around for nothing!
Oh, finally, I'm out. Thank you so much. If only there hadn't been rocks mixed in with the snow on the tree, it wouldn't have made me all dizzy when it fell down onto my head. And then I would have never walked into the Fatui's trap.
Bandit? In a cage? Never saw that coming!
I won't bore you with the rest of the details. Just me being unlucky again.
Yep! Taking them out was child's play! No need to thank us.
You did? That's so nice of you guys. I know they were probably just following orders. But still, thanks for helping me out.
So what are you doing on Dragonspine? Didn't Razor want to come with you?
Did you hear about the Adventurers Guild thing? They're hosting a winter camp here. As one of their veteran adventurers, I'm here to help out the rookies. Razor's not an adventurer, and as the leader of Benny's adventure team, as well as the only actual member, I had to come on my own. But now I've been stuck here for so long, I probably missed it. Oh, I hope Cyrus doesn't get mad at me.
Oh! Wait, so that guy Gerald who got left in the lurch? He was supposed to be paired up with you? If so, sorry, Bennett, but you really did miss it. He got paired up with a different instructor instead.
What? Weren't they short on instructors? Where'd they suddenly get extras from?
A few people from the Knights of Avonia stepped up in order to help support the event, so they ended up with more instructors than students.
Knights of Favonius. Yeah, they're definitely more reliable than me. I'm just a walking accident waiting to happen.
Right, right! Anyway, that was just the situation when we last saw them. It might have changed by now. Who knows? Maybe a whole load more rookies will have turned up to join in. Besides, after all the trouble you've gone to show up as an instructor, I'm sure Cyrus will put you to work.
Really?
For sure. Hey, wait a second. Where'd Albedo go?
Albedo? You mean the alchemist from the Knights of Favonius? He's one of the instructors too?
No, he just happened to be on Dragonspine. We were just with him, but then we heard you calling for help. He must have left us at some point after that. Could he have gone back to keep looking for clues? Let's go back to the cavern and see if he's there.
Maybe he found his notes. Nope. Not fishing today. What's that?
Still no sign of Albedo. This is weird. Where has he run off to?
This is great! Dragonspine's so fun today! There's so many people around. It's never usually like this.
This was where we heard Bennett's cry for help, right? We heard his voice and went straight over to rescue him. Then we noticed Albedo was gone. Huh. So he just didn't feel like helping us save Bennett?
Wait, what?
What are you talking about?
Oh, Albedo! Where the heck have you been? We've been looking for you!
I should be the one to ask you that. Didn't I tell you to stay at the cavern entrance?
Huh?
I'm not really following who was waiting for who and who was looking for who, but first things first.
Okay, so I suspect that the Albedo we spoke with a few minutes ago is actually a fake or something. His speech pattern was kind of suspicious. He was talking about humans as if he wasn't a human. We'll see how this plays out.
I apologize, Albedo. I don't fully understand what's going on, but it seems like it's mostly my fault.
No. Bennett, this is not because of you. You needn't blame yourself. Traveler, clear this up for me. What was the reason that you left the cavern entrance? Did you...
There you are. Stay right there. You have a lot of explaining to do.
What? Me?
Huh? You, huh? Aren't you supposed to be helping the new guy?
Yes, that's what I would be doing, if I hadn't been interrupted by a certain someone's malicious scheming. Albedo, I saw you taking Joel towards the wasteland at the edge of Dragonspine. That place is crawling with monsters. What the devil do you think you were doing?
Whoa, wait a second. What's going on?
Is there like
Actually,
a
wrong
shapeshifter
question. How much
that's
stuff is going on?
tricking everybody?
When I came to stop you from leading Joel any further, your first reaction was to throw the child down and attack me. When I fought back, you quickly fled. Care to explain?
I see. Interesting.
Interesting?
You, it sounds like you met an imposter. Someone who was impersonating me.
Impersonating you? To what end?
It is difficult to draw a definitive conclusion for now. But these strange incidents do seem to be connected.
Your alchemy notes were stolen. Can the Traveler and Paimon testify that the three of you were together up until you entered the cavern?
Yes, we can confirm that.
As things stand, I don't have any reason to harm the child. Whoever you met is likely to be both the thief who stole my notes, and also an imposter. Of course, it's entirely natural for you to be skeptical of my story. I was separated from the Traveler and Paimon for a significant duration while we were pursuing the thief. My word alone cannot serve as a definitive account of my actions and whereabouts during that period. But the Traveler and Paimon can at least testify that I was not the individual who tore up the campsite or stole my notes.
Albedo, do you have any enemies? Could it be one of your enemies impersonating you to get revenge on you or something?
I don't have any enemies. And I'm not aware of having given anyone cause to exact vengeance upon me. There is insufficient evidence to assert what happened with any certainty at this point. Given how serious the situation is, I intend to investigate it myself, even if you decide not to pursue it any further. Eula, I won't discourage your ongoing suspicion of me if you can't believe my story. Though, naturally, I would hope you can afford me some credibility on account of our solidarity as fellow members of the Knights of Favonius. Traveler, Paimon, Bennett, if you are willing, I welcome you to monitor my activities beyond this point so that you can act as my witnesses. If I am what this imposter wants, he will come looking for me again eventually. Things can only become clearer from that point on.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, as preposterous as your claims sound. And I will choose to believe that an imposter went after Joel, and not you. I will keep Joel safe. If you need any support with the investigation, contact myself and Amber.
You have my gratitude.
As far as Amber goes, I will...
Eula! Eula! Where are you?
Amber, we're here!
Eula! Oh, and Traveler, Paimon, Albedo, and Bennett. You're all together. Great. Bennett, I'm glad I ran into you here. Cyrus was telling me you still hadn't shown up. He was getting worried you might have run into some trouble.
Yeah, I ran into a little trouble. Thanks for your concern.
Sure thing. Well, now that I found you, let's go check in with Cyrus. But before that, has something come up? How come you're all gathered here together? Need any help?
Between us, there have been a few minor incidents, but nothing I haven't already dealt with.
Oh, yeah. It's my fault, really. All because of my bad luck. But everything is fine now.
So, it's all set then? Great! Shall we head back down together? I did say I'd bring Bennett back if I saw him.
Sure, I'm ready to go.
Very well. Let's go.
And then there were 3.
Traveler, can we talk somewhere else? There's something I need to tell you. Let's go to my camp.
Who's to say that something or someone that could impersonate Albedo couldn't also impersonate other people and cause more mischief? Let's see how this unfolds.
My camp is somewhere that we can talk openly, without reservation. But before that...
Whoa! What a mess!
Thank you. I appreciate it. I've been absorbed in my research lately and haven't attended to the dusting. It's due for a cleaning.
Yep, that should do it. Neat and tidy.
Thank you, both of you. Now that everything is in order, it's time to talk.
You look really serious right now. Is this about what happened earlier?
I remember I once told you that you must have questions, and that I would answer them. I also said that, while I did not wish to deceive you, there were certain things I could not go into detail on. I am a synthetic human being. A human forged by human hand. The one who created me, my mother and teacher. Her name is Raiden, a researcher from Conria, also known as Gold.
A synthetic human? What the... How the heck does that work?
Cool.
When the pinnacle of attainment in alchemy is combined with unimaginably vast learning, the apex achievement is the creation of human life.
When you say Conria, do you mean...
I am indeed somewhat older than my appearance might suggest. But when I came into being, Conria had already been destroyed. I have no memories of it. My master raised me and taught me everything. Like her, I am a pure alchemist. I live for academic knowledge. Nationality and identity are not what ultimately define us. Traveler, what is your general feeling toward Dragonspine? You've visited numerous times now. Would you say it's a cold, eerie, and melancholy place? Raiden created two miraculous beings. One is me, and the other is the venomous dragon, Durin, who died here.
Durin? So that makes you guys... brothers?
As sons of Raiden, Durin and I are indeed inextricably linked to one another. The phenomenon of our creation defies definition within the scope of a typical human worldview. But if we may tentatively call it birth, then yes, we, by extension, are family.
Speaking of Durin, Paimon remembers that his power was quite... special.
That's right. Because of this, whenever strange things happen on Dragonspine, it always makes me wonder. For instance, the feeling of being watched that you described, as well as the sounds you heard, and the one impersonating me that Eula met.
Oh, right! Paimon knows what you mean! When Eula and the others were here just now, the Traveler gave me a look as if to say, don't say anything. Probably because it would only make you more suspicious, so Paimon kept quiet. But Paimon noticed that you came out of the cavern not too long after going in, and you told us that you didn't manage to catch the thief. Then we heard Bennett calling for help, so we went to rescue him. But strangely, you didn't come with us. And when we got back to the cavern to go find you, suddenly you were the one looking for us.
So, it seems that you met my imposter too.
Well, if so, it was a pretty good impression. He had you down to a T. We never would have guessed. Also, after he left us, why did he go after Joel?
Perhaps Durin's power drives people to madness. But that's merely crude conjecture. Whether someone is impersonating me or there is another false me out there, this is a cursed tale, and it is not one whose weight you should have to bear. Traveler, perhaps you should return to Mondstadt if you have no further business here. The work that lies ahead will occupy me completely. I'm afraid I will be unable to entertain you beyond this point.
We're totally invested.
Yeah, we're Dragonspine veterans by now. If there's something really bad going on, we can't just leave you here to deal with it on your own. That wouldn't be very nice now, would it? Besides, there's no one else in Mondstadt that you can talk to about this. Sucrose and Timaeus don't know you're secret. Yeah, don't push us away at a time like this.
All right. Thank you. You were intending to participate in that winter camp, if I recall correctly. That could serve as an excellent pretext for you to remain on the mountain. In that case, please join in the activities of the Adventurers Guild as planned, and be on the lookout for any leads while you're at it. If anyone sees me, or someone like me...
We'll be sure to pass the info straight on to you.
Good. Then we're agreed.
Okay, let's split up to look for clues, then meet back here at this camp in a few days' time.
Sounds good to me. But please, whatever happens, put your safety first at all times.
Oh, okay. So this is a bunch of okay. This is a special event that I'm looking at, and it starts with the quest that we just did. Okay. Now, I wonder if this means that the quest that we started out on, Jean's Day Off, is available to continue on. Or Master's Day Off, rather. Okay. So now we can go back to talk to Margaret, and I will go ahead and do the event a bit later, because I wanted to do this quest specifically before I finish the stream. That is what's on the agenda. I think I'll do this and then call it an evening. Oh, you guys have a great night. Thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure, and at the very latest, I'll see you next weekend. We'll hang out. Okay. Time to chat with Margaret and Venti, apparently.
So, yours is the cat that went missing.
Venti! Have you come to help?
Me here to help you? Why, on the contrary, it is I who needs the helping.
But Paimon just saw you talking to Margaret about Prince.
Aha! So, Prince is the name of the feline fiend who thieved my spare astral iron strings. Though it gladdens my heart to see that the free-spirited ethos of Mondstadt is alive and well in creatures great and small, still, it's a bit audacious.
Prince is a mischievous little rascal, all right.
Indeed. Just like Barbados.
Yes, quite. Now, let's see about getting ourselves an audience with His Little Highness Prince Rascal of Mondstadt. I have a performance tonight, and without my spare strings, I shall have to disappoint my audience.
What would a kitty cat want with lyre strings anyway?
Everyone knows cats go crazy for a ball of string.
What?
These lyre strings are made of astral iron, which contains animo energy. That makes them extremely durable, so I normally just roll them up in a ball to make them easier to carry. That's a trick of the trade from a traveling bard.
The strings contain animo energy? That'll help us. It's time for you to use your elemental sight again. I'm unsure there must be some elemental footprints or something.
Thank you all. Prince should be somewhere around the marketplace. It's a black cat you're looking for. Oh, take this fish. It's Little Prince's favorite food. Maybe it'll help you find him.
Did something bad happen again?
if I were a cat... Wait, why am I...
Prince should be somewhere around the marketplace.
Is this not the correct area? I am at a loss.
Haven't you heard? There's a strange wandering.
That's not it. Someone else's cat is on the loose.
The vision seemed to come out. Did something bad happen?
I don't understand how my vision's supposed to be helping me. Cool. I got the
Wait,
kitty
hey,
cat.
go!
Prince! Where did you go running off to? Oh, thank goodness you're safe.
We definitely had our work cut out for us looking for him.
Oh, Princey, how could you leave me like that?
Looks like those two need some time to themselves. And here are your astral iron strings, Venti.
You found them! Wonderful! I was not optimistic they would turn up. I dare say that a private performance played using these very same strings would not be an excessive way to show my gratitude.
What?
Apologies. At this distance, my cat allergy seems to be rearing its head.
Oh, now Paimon gets why you didn't go looking for your strings by yourself?
Anyway, thanks for the help. I'll be going now.
Think we're finally finished with the commissions we were doing for Jean. A day in the life of Jean really is hard work. Wonder how she's feeling now. Let's head to the cathedral and pay her a visit.
Yes, let's.
Check out me.
Oh, this isn't the cathedral. It's up here. Wait. That's not the cathedral either.
Make my escape. I'm out of here. Hi, Barbara. We're back.
Welcome back. You must be exhausted. Jean has regained consciousness and should be back to her normal self soon enough.
That's great news! Let's go and see her!
But she just left the cathedral. I tried to tell her she needs more rest, but she wouldn't listen. She tried to act like she was fine and kept saying she wanted to get some fresh air. I bet you she's gone to Lady Vanessa's place again.
Where?
Oh, that huge tree at Windrise? That place is dedicated to Mondstadt's hero, Vanessa. Jean goes there whenever she feels lost and confused deep down inside.
Barbara, that's some pretty personal stuff. How do you know so much about Jean's innermost thoughts?
Jean, mentioned it to me, you know, before she left. That's what I'm worried about too. But I still have work to do here.
Don't worry, we'll take over nursing duty for now.
Great! That puts my mind at rest. May the Animo Archon protect you. And Jean.
Lady Vanessa, I hope your watch over Mondstadt remains unclouded. I do not know if I, or the rest of the world, as you had hoped for, have become stronger. Huh?
Hi, Jean. Are you feeling better now?
Much better. I was not expecting you to come here. Thank you for your concern.
Are you sure? We saw you beneath the tree just now, leaning on your sword. It looked like you were struggling. Are you sure you aren't pushing yourself too hard?
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. Hearing that boosts my spirits. But I must find a way to cope with minor setbacks like this on my own. Otherwise, how can I be the protector that Mondstadt needs me to be? The protector that Vanessa was.
You truly revere Vanessa, huh?
I do. Vanessa was the first Grandmaster, a kind yet formidable woman. I have always hoped to follow in her footsteps. As the Lion Fang Knight, she courageously overthrew the oppressive ruling aristocracy of her time. Then, she founded the Knights of Favonius and became known as the Dandelion Knight, spreading grace and compassion throughout the land.
Dandelion Knight? Isn't that your title?
Actually, all of the Knights of Favonius Masters throughout the ages have inherited the title of Dandelion Knight or Lion Fang Knight.
Oh, that makes sense now. You too want to be as gentle as the Dandelion Knight, and yet as fierce as the Lion Fang Knight.
Yes, I know it sounds like a huge honor, inheriting both these titles from Vanessa, but I see it more as a huge responsibility. After all, it is a lot to live up to.
Paimon thinks so too.
Huh?
Jean?
Who's there?
Caught red-handed. Finally, an opportunity comes to get rid of the Master in a moment of weakness. And then you two show up and ruin everything.
How did they know about Jean's condition? Choosing this moment to strike is a low blow, even for this lot.
As long as my name is the Dandelion Knight, I swear I shall not be defeated by such despicable means.
Since this opportunity has slipped away, I shall now be
Stop! After him!
Jean, you're still recovering.
No, I must go after him.
Jean, you can't keep doing this to yourself. Why can't you trust us to handle it?
I do trust you, but to let an enemy get away like this would be a major dereliction of duty.
Fine, but at least let us go with you.
Thank you for your understanding. I will graciously accept your help.
And away I go! I'm about to pass out over here.
Oops.
Are you hurt? Ugh, darn him and his traps.
How badly? Oh, one of my own being injured because of me is the last thing I would wish for. Let me handle this alone.
No, you are in no state to handle this alone. We're coming too.
Okay, but before we move out, at least let me heal everyone with my dandelion breeze.
Thanks. You're amazing.
Wind, hear me.
And away I go!
Looks like our fates are intertwined. To think you chased me this far. Face my brave subordinates. I put a spell on them to calm their fear of water.
Easy enough.
Face the fury of my flames. This one is enough to reignite the fiery fury of the rest.
You're toast! Go as one!
I like that it's trying to teach me how to play Genshin.
Can't catch me! Torrent, bring refuge! Rest and rebuild!
I'd be really sad if I didn't figure things out right now. Alright. Where's this maiden been following around?
Back off!
Looks like our fates are intertwined. To think you pushed me this far. I may deal with you myself.
Come on out! Make my escape. Can't catch me! Go as one! Boba!
Barbara's help, my condition is better than I thought.
The main thing is that you're safe. Now, isn't it time to get back to Mondstadt and rest, Acting Grandmaster?
Yes, I should at least go and thank Barbara again. I hope she's not upset with me.
She gonna be at the cathedral again? Right. You wanted to thank Barbara.
Anything tonight?
And away I go!
I might be missing something. Were they outside and I didn't see them?
Report it to the church.
Might be outside.
Can't touch me!
Or... No? No? Okay. Okay. What? Okay, fine. At least that clears things up. But seriously mistaken where I was going.
Can't touch me!
Master, you finally returned. The Animo Archon protects you.
Swan, were you waiting for me? Has something happened?
Yes, at the Angel's Share. Don't worry, it's nothing big, but... okay, I know I said it's nothing big, but... Alright, how can I put this? They just really need the Acting Grand Master.
Huh?
Well, if you say so, Swan, I will go. I should not let the other knights down. It's fine. Now that I have had the chance to stretch my legs, I feel much better.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. You really saved me on this one.
For goodness sake, what is happening to the world? Swan used to be the most honest fellow, now he's dumping things onto Jean.
Well, Swan was clearly agitated. Maybe it is an emergency after all. Let's go and see what this is all about, shall we?
Maybe it's going to be a surprise party. Or it could be something dire.
And away I go!
Oh, what's all this?
It's a thank you party for you.
A thank you party?
Jean, when we heard the news about your illness, we were all so worried about you.
We can only imagine how much pressure you must be under as acting Grand Master, and you do so much work all over Mondstadt.
We thought that since you so rarely take any time off, we'd take this chance to throw you a party. Enjoy yourself, Jean. After all, you'll never let us do this once you're back at work.
Jean? Huh? Is this Jean when she's shy? I've never seen her like this.
It's easy to forget that outside of work, Jean is just a normal person, like anyone else.
This is just all such a surprise. Thank you, everyone. This really means so much to me.
Well, it's nothing compared to the amount of work you do for all of us, day in and day out.
But there are so many things I still need to do.
Fear not. We wanted to make sure you could relax and enjoy yourself. So while you were away, we all pitched in and finished off your work for you. Every last task.
Did you really? Even the issue with the food deliveries?
It was no different from what we see on patrol. A couple of hilly churls. Didn't take much to get rid of them.
And the tax returns?
I spent so much time doing library admin. A few more pieces of paper to deal with was really nothing to worry about.
Well, what about Margaret's missing cat?
Are you kidding me?
That rascally prince was apprehended by the brilliant honorary knight. And he also reclaimed my precious astral iron strings while he was at it.
Enough already. No more thinking about work today. Enjoy yourself while you've got the chance.
It is my honor to work alongside you all. Praise be for the Animo Archon's guidance. Speaking of work, it must have been hard work to put all this together. Where did you find the time?
Actually, our friend here was the key organizer behind all of this. See all of this food and drink? He made sure it all arrived on time. Not only that, but he cooked each one of these beautiful dishes himself. So relax already. There's no need to be so modest. Of course, we also have Master Diluc to thank for the venue. Otherwise, we would be looking at quite an alarming bill right about now.
Despite my initial reluctance to sponsor a Knights of Favonius event in any way, I, like any other citizen of Mondstadt, owe Jean my gratitude for her hard work.
Oh, Master Diluc,
All right. Jean's supposed to be taking it easy. Stop crowding her.
Agreed. Now, let the party begin!
It looks like everyone seems to be partying hard. Paimon thinks we should join in the fun. Let's go and mingle. Oh, and Paimon thinks she saw Jean go upstairs by herself. Let's make sure the woman of the hour doesn't get left out.
Where'd she go?
Oh, it is you. Yes, I am just getting some air.
Uh-oh. It seems like something's bothering Jean.
I want to thank you again. Either way, it is good to be here together with everyone. It has lifted my spirits. And it has taught me something.
What's that?
I am definitely more of a Dandelion Knight than a Lionfang Knight. The Lionfang Knight represents Vanessa's past, a past in which she fought hard for Mondstadt.
But it was the Dandelion Knight that represented her hopes for the future, a future belonging to the newly formed Knights of Favonius. I do believe that Vanessa watches over us, whether from high up above or from the wind all around us. Let the wind lead. The winds of freedom will guide us along the path that lies ahead. I hope you will continue to join us on that path.
That was nice.
Take a seat. We have a few specials today at Angel Share.
Are they still partying inside, or did I forego all those interactions by going directly upstairs? Oh well. That was cool. And with that, I'll call it a stream. There's a lot going on, a lot of dialogue, but we made it through. Thanks for checking it out. Enjoy the rest of your day. I surely will.